Hello, beautiful friend. I am so excited you are here. I am so excited to share with you the secret to becoming a wealthy and abundant spiritual entrepreneur. Oh, this is a culmination moment in my life, and I am so excited to be here with you. This is a pivotal moment in your life as well, that you are not here by accident. There are no accidents. And this is a moment where your life could potentially change should you choose to move forward with it. So, who am I? My name is Rebecca Dawn. I am 43 years old and the mother of three beautiful children. I am a spiritual entrepreneur and I have experienced everything that I teach and know it to be true because I have seen the evidence in my life. So, a little bit more about me. Where did I come from? I am your average typical girl. I grew up in a middle class family home with three siblings and a dog named Cowboy. All right, so pretty basic, general average story. We had all the things we physically needed, but there wasn't the emotional support that was needed. My father was a pastor and a narcissist, but God gave him authority, so of course. We were frequently told that we were sinners, we were shameful, we should beg for forgiveness and hope and pray that we would be allowed into heaven. And in order to achieve that, we had to suffer and self sacrifice and live through this difficult, painful life. Many times I was berated for being a sinner and a bad person. And these experiences became the foundation of my belief system. Life was hard and that I was bad. On top of the constant barrage of unworthiness and not enoughness, there was additional emotional, physical, and sexual abuse in my childhood. I was never safe, seen, heard, cared for, or loved. Most of all, I really never felt safe. I felt lost and anxious and depressed, like I wanted to escape my own life. I felt trapped in my own head, in my own body, and there was these ruminations that just kept going in my head. I kept wondering what it was going to take to make it stop. When would I be happy? It tortured me, and I deeply wanted to live a normal life that seemed to make everybody else happy. I wanted a loving and supportive family, friends, life experiences, just the freedom to be a kid, to play, instead of carrying this 10,000 ton weight of how bad I was. This was exacerbated by soul-crushing belief that I may never be loved. And I became deeply curious about what I was truly seeking. What was it going to take to feel enough? What I discovered was all I wanted was peace. To feel so loved and so safe that I never had to worry again. To be financially supported and supported from relationships, so much so that I could truly rest. Maybe even feel valued or valuable. But no matter how good of a person I was, no matter how much I self-sacrificed or gave myself away, no matter how much I conformed or how passive or easygoing I became, people continued to hurt me. I was attracting painful situations into my own life. I didn't even know it. Depression and anxiety haunted me constantly, but it was the dark night of the soul that broke me to my core. I had just come out of yet another narcissistic relationship, and I became pregnant by accident. It was my worst fear, to be so damaged and such broken goods at the seemingly perfect and prime age of 27, an age I had looked forward to thinking, oh, then they'll respect me. Then I'll find true love. I'll be in my prime. And here I was, a single, alone, pregnant woman. I feared no one would ever love me. I was never more lost and in my head and in my ruminations than at that time, desperately trying to understand, what did I do to deserve this? I honestly thought at one point I must have been a really bad person in this last lifetime because of all the negative things that had happened. I could not understand why my son's father didn't love me, Why was I not enough for him to change? Why was he so cold and heartless when all I wanted to do was love him? I was a prisoner again in my own life and in my own mind. Every ounce of my body ached with the pain of knowing I could not escape my life. And I wanted to quit. I wanted to give up. And I wanted to end it. But I couldn't. I couldn't do that to my son. And then one beautiful day, a friend of mine who was a psychologist suggested that I see a therapist. And I got lucky. On my first try, I found a beautiful, amazing man who introduced me to a book that changed my life. It was a book that taught me how to see what was happening in my head. And for the first time in my 27 years of existence, I had never realized that I had never observed my thoughts before. It was as if I had been living in a dark room and someone would just turn the light on. I began to dig into every psychology, personal development, spirituality, ancient wisdom book that I could find. Every resource out there I consumed as quickly as I could. And I finally started to realize how to play this game called life. I found myself saying, why didn't they teach me this in school? I said it more times than I can count. Every epiphany moment, like, why am I just now finding this out? Understanding that we are creators and we're creating through our thoughts and our feelings and our emotions all the time is a game changer. But learning how to change those things from a psychology and a scientific perspective made everything finally truly possible. So I began to consume even more information, as much as I could get my hands on. Not just the spiritual wisdom, but the psychology, the neuroscience, the biochemistry. My therapist joked recently, he said, you have a personal master's in these fields. So much so I'm actually pursuing the traditional master's. But my life improved dramatically. And for the first time in my life, I was actually enjoying it. Truly. I leveled up my career many times, worked for multiple Fortune 500 companies, broke the six-figure barrier in less than 10 years. I achieved the highest levels of prestige in my product development career. I was managing $1 billion portfolio. I married and I had 2 more beautiful children. We bought a brand new construction, 4-bedroom, beautiful home. We had the beautiful cars and all the things that the world defines as success. And yet, I had not achieved the highest levels of peace and happiness that I knew my soul was searching for. I had always been a seeker, and even as a young child, I would stare at the stars knowing there was something more out there, that I was supposed to do something important with my life. I knew there had to be something more. And yet there was a part of me that questioned that. Do I deserve more? Shouldn't I be happy with what I have? I have everything everybody asks for. Aren't I being ungrateful for being unsatisfied? And yet I'm so grateful now in this moment for that knowing in me that knew that there was something bigger, even better. It took many years of fighting with that knowing to leave the corporate world. And I finally did it. I even tried building my own business once, and then I had to go back. I couldn't figure out how I could manage $1 billion portfolio and every aspect of it from the time that product or service was born to the time it died. They call it cradle to grave. I managed every aspect of that business. There was no reason I couldn't launch my own business. What I didn't know was I knew it in my prefrontal cortex, but I had a program in my subconscious brain that said, you're not enough. It was that original unworthiness wound that was holding me back from my own business, holding me back from my dreams, the very dreams that the divine put on my heart, the very purpose I was created for. So what was it? It was the fact that putting myself out there meant I would be seen, truly seen, risking judgment, criticism, rejection. It was my greatest fear. I didn't believe I could survive it. I was too sensitive. I could feel every dagger sent my way. But over time, I grew to know that there was no other option because my soul was not going to let me rest. I simply could not live with the pain of knowing that my soul was calling me for something greater. I had to learn to listen. And the thrill of learning had dwindled. I had consumed everything I could consume. It was as if my cup had been filled and there was no more room. And until I started to pour it out, I would not be able to gain any more knowledge. I would not be able to level up any farther. So, even though I was terrified, I knew I had to do it. And I quit. I walked away from a 6-figure corporate career while also filing for divorce from my final narcissistic relationship. I gave up the big, beautiful new house and fancy car. I walked away from it all. I had no way of knowing how I would survive. I didn't know how I was going to feed my kids. I didn't know how I was going to pay my rent. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to keep my house, my rental house. But the one thing I did know was that I had a purpose. And I knew that my Creator loved me and that I would be provided for as long as I stayed on the path of that purpose. I knew that following my purpose was the only way I could find the true peace and joy and happiness that I was seeking. And I began to step into my purpose. I didn't even know what it was fully. I had an idea, but what it grew to is something I never could have imagined. I never could have planned or prepared for or discovered without stepping into it. And when I did, there were such levels of joy and ecstasy and freedom. Literally, it made me dizzy at times. I was so happy. I had never known this level of happiness. It felt familiar and even scary at times, in a good way. I absolutely loved what I was doing day to day. Process of researching and creating videos, creating courses and coaching and helping people and changing lives and watching people shift out of the dark night of the soul or the depression and into their purpose, making a living doing it. The very knowledge that I had gained, not only through my studies, but also through my experience, became the very asset that others needed. To not only help other people find their purpose, but to heal the trauma and the unworthiness that holds us back. Yes, I had to work through my unworthiness wound. Of course, that was part of the path. And it wasn't as hard as you would have thought. I tried literally every modality out there for years and years and years. I felt like I'll never get through this. I've done this before. I know this already. But I still couldn't get my subconscious mind to work towards the direction of my purpose and my dreams. Until I discovered something called brain spotting. And it made healing so easy and so effortless. It happened without trying. And that's how I knew this is from the divine. I finally healed the trauma that held me back, and I finally began to live the life that I dreamt of and that I truly, truly love. I get to follow my intuition in every moment. Joy is my compass. I became whole again. I have called back all of those parts of me that were rejected or denied or considered a liability. Every aspect of me now works for me instead of against me. When you shed all of those trauma responses and character traits that came from protection instead of who we were made to be, there's a whole new you that emerges. I discovered that we were all made perfectly imperfect for a purpose. And as I discovered my purpose, I began to shine brighter than ever before. I even became more powerful than I ever could have imagined. And that was scary at one point. But best of all, I lost my fear of my own power. I learned to be comfortable with making others uncomfortable. No more playing small so that I don't have to feel their discomfort. I created an unshakable foundation of confidence, unfazed by anyone or anything anymore. Sure, triggers come. but we move through them so quickly and we see the gift that they are meant to be, and it levels us up, and it's something you embrace. Not to mention, I'm living a life of true abundance. Money flows easily and effortlessly every day in many ways. I go wherever I want, whenever I want. I'm with my kids every day. I work by the pool while my kids play with their friends. There is a level of freedom and abundance that we were born to experience. This is the way it was meant to be. And I'm not an anomaly. This is available to you too. That's why I have to share this with the world. Imagine what the world would be like if we were all fulfilled and all living in our purpose, contributing to the greater whole, creating heaven on earth. So understanding how to heal the wounds that hold you back is going to be critical to stepping into your life purpose. It's critical to your life changing. It's critical to you getting from where you are to where you want to go. This has to be shared with the world. The world needs that special gift that only you can offer. Your time is now. It's up to you. You have to be your own hero. I'm here to help you and support you. But at the end of the day, no one can save you but yourself. So that's why I've put together the quick and easy abundant block removal system, right? We need to remove those abundance blocks. So I've created a master course, and in that master course, we will cover how to identify the trauma behaviors, the trauma responses, the aspects of you that were more so a coping mechanism than who you were truly designed to be. We'll remove that trauma, remove the unworthiness blocks, and identify your life purpose. I'll teach you how to manifest with intention, because you are manifesting all the time, whether you realize it or not. And if you're operating on the foundation of the beliefs of unworthiness or trauma, you're misfiring your manifestation gun. We're recreating more of the past on autopilot by accident instead of using our manifesting abilities to create with purpose and intention. So we'll remove all of the resistance, identify your life purpose, learn how to manifest with intention, and to top it off, I will teach you how to make a living with your purpose. Marketing, sales, leads, all that you need to be able to live an abundant, healed, whole, and complete, healthy, beautiful life of your dreams. On top of that, I also include coaching, because you can't do this alone. We are not meant to do this alone. We're meant to collaborate. We're pieces of a puzzle that together, when we fit together, we create a beautiful, greater whole. And so with this live weekly coaching for a year, I will be available to you to ask questions, to answer any concerns that you have, to help you heal, to guide you through this, to build connection with others. You can ask questions around the trauma healing. You can ask questions about life purpose identification, around manifestation, or around business. How do I build a website? How do I do a better sales call? Whatever your questions are, they're all available. You can ask them anytime in the live coaching. Then I'll also include subconscious reprogramming. So this is a critical component. Not only do we remove the trauma, we release it out of the body because the body keeps the score, we also reprogram the subconscious. So your neural pathways are very strong in support of these old beliefs, in support of the lack mentality or the limits. And so we need to reprogram your neural pathways and your subconscious. They're two different things, right? So we will destroy the lack mentality and we will create true emotional freedom, which leads to the financial freedom. The abundance that you seek is available through this purpose, through this process. Right, and then I also include a couple of bonuses. So our first bonus is the manifesting abundance through your life purpose accelerator. This will kickstart you. This is 3 hours of live recorded trainings around how to empower yourself so that you can heal your trauma and manifest at high speed. This will be sort of a Kickstarter if you want to watch that first before you jump into the masterclass. That can get you started even faster. And I also include, as a second bonus, the Platinum Trauma Healers online mastermind group, which is a private, exclusive Facebook group for people in this course. We talk about how to heal the wounds, whatever's coming up for you. We'll instantly plug you into like-minded trauma healers and purpose-driven entrepreneurs, spiritual entrepreneurs who are stepping into their life purpose. We exchange ideas, tips, tools, tricks, and even network with other people in your industry who may have similar goals or questions that can further support you. And then finally, the last bonus is dissolving abundance blocks through theta healing, future self progression, and inner child regression. So we need to reclaim those lost parts of yourself, dissolve those abundance blocks, recalibrate yourself energetically. And you are even in this process now, you are recalibrating to me, understanding that money can flow to you easily and effortlessly in all ways every day. That's part of this process, is having that belief and recalibrating by your pure alignment or proximity. You are recalibrating and attuning to this new vibrational frequency. And this third bonus with all of these different regressions and inner child progressions, future self progressions, inner child regressions, and theta healings will further support you in that process, opening you up to the flow of wealth and abundance, joy and bliss, all of your dreams that were put on your heart for a reason. You deserve them. Know that this is available to you. Know that you are currently being offered in this moment a ticket to get on the train to a new life. So the couple of questions that will come up for you is, can I do this? Do you trust me? Know that my trauma response won't allow me to act out of integrity, not to mention everything I do is first and foremost, the highest priority is acting on the divine's guidance, which of course will always be within integrity. So then the next question that comes up is, do you trust yourself? Do you believe that you are capable? Do you have the willingness and the wherewithal, the resolve and the commitment to making this happen? It doesn't have to be hard. But if you're not committed, you won't be able to succeed. So it really is up to you. The system works when you work the system. So do you trust yourself to make this happen? And then finally, the biggest block for anyone with abundance blocks is, I don't have the money. So know that coming up with the money is part of this path. It's part of this process. Because money is an energy, just like air and water. We use money the same way we use cards and stones. You don't not pull a card because you're afraid there won't be energy or guidance in the next card. The same with money. You don't not spend the money because you're afraid there won't be more money, because that is a creation in and of itself. So, let me empower you and teach you how to make this happen. We remain as king when we are asking a question. So look at the etymology of the word, as king. So when you say, I can't, I don't have the money, you have built a brick wall in front of you. When you say, I am a creator, and I don't know how I'm going to make this happen, but divine source, creator, universe, this resonates with me. I want to make this happen. How can I make this happen? So you ask the question, how can I make this happen? This works in any aspect of life. Open yourself up to the feminine energy and receive the guidance. And know that if you truly want it, you're truly resolved, you're truly committed, and you know this is your path, the answer will present itself. So, when the money comes, when the idea comes of how you can make this happen, can you put down the disbelief? Can you recognize that what's going to come up is a little trauma voice that says, you don't deserve that. You shouldn't spend that money. That's irresponsible. Or you can override it and say, no, I see you. Flick off that little trauma demon and say, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to step into my life purpose. And know that when you spend the money, more comes in right after. There are so many times where I have spent thousands of dollars, and I will tell you, I have spent close to $50,000 on just learning the material that you're going to learn. That's not even to mention my master's degree and bachelor's and all the other education. So the cost of what this program is so bargain basement pricing because it has to be made available to you. It has to be accessible. But it is a little bit more than what you're going to be used to. And know that that is part of the process. You are recalibrating. You are saying, yes, I override that voice. I believe that I deserve this. I know that I can do this. And I know the divine is going to show me how. And this is where I leave you. If you want more information, there's going to be lots of details below. All the details of the course will be in writing if you want to hear them again. It's up to you now. You can do this. Your life is very valuable. You are not an accident. You are made with purpose and intention. The divine, the universe, God, all things available to you and around you are in support with you, in support of you and your purpose. The universe is conspiring in your favor every day, always, and in all ways. The birds don't search for food. The trees don't struggle for water. You are your Creator's favorite. You will be cared for. The number one most important thing to rely on, the number one most important skill to cultivate right now is faith. Faith, trust, surrender, allow, receive. That is the progression. All right. I love you guys. And I look forward to supporting you on the other side. Take care. Namaste.